Hi, my name is David Wang. I'm from DePaul University. Today we are going to share a research project about telemagnet for data analysts. And the focus is on current state of data scientist job on LinkedIn. It's a really large professional network and how these people switch their jobs. And my co-author is Mijo, and he's at Virginia Commonwealth University. Before we start, just a little bit about myself. So I got a bachelor in accounting and a master in accounting. I got my PhD from Purdue University, but my major was in MIS. I'm a certified public accountant. I'm a certified internal auditor. My research is in IT management and information security management. And I mainly teach accounting information systems, audit analytics, and data mining. I've been invited by universities and conferences to discuss research and curriculum design. So the motivation for this project is kind of straightforward. Everyone is talking about analytics. So we can see professional articles, we can see news articles. There are conferences just for analytics. There are analytics certificate, and there are a lot of programs coming up by focusing on analytics. So it seems that it's so important, but do our employers really care about this kind of skills? So I search on LinkedIn and we collect the top 5 and top 10 skills in the past couple years. So you can see that in year 2013, the top 5 skills that people like is social media marketing, mobile development, and you can see Python and statistical analysis and data mining are also on the list. In 2014, interestingly, statistical analysis and data mining became the top 1 skill. Okay, it's the hottest skill. In the next 2 years, 2015 and 2016, statistical analysis and data mining were still the top 5 skills that people are looking at. Okay, these two are just kind of hot. But do people really get bigger paychecks for analytics professionals? Okay, so I just randomly collect 2 positions from Glassdoor. One is an internship job. Okay, so it's a data analytics position, and this person can get 25 US dollar per hour. And the second one is a data analytics position, but the annual salary is about 100,000 US dollar. Okay, that's a annual salary. Okay, it's not surprisingly because I used to talk to an IT director and he said that he is willing to pay more than $100,000 just to hire someone who can understand accounting, auditing, and this person has some kind of analytic skills. Okay, so it seems that there's a short of supply. So McKinsey estimates that there's a shortfall of up to 250,000 positions about analytics in the next decade. That's a huge amount of positions. But when we look at all the job openings, it's kind of surprisingly to see that, hey, this job only opens there for 45 days. That's slightly more than a month. How about the other jobs? We look at other jobs, most of them can be closed probably within a month. So it's not really that bad, right? Uh, if you can close a job position in 45 days, that means people are still getting these kind of jobs. But how come that there may be a 250,000 positions opening in the next decade? So this is the reason why we want to dig further. We want to focus on what's going on between all these kind of job openings and who is taking all these kind of jobs. So our focus is on the current state of analytics job on LinkedIn, and we also try to focus on any talent magnet. So that means some companies can attract a lot of analytics professionals. And are there any job switches? So this is how we collect our data. So we open the LinkedIn website, we search for all the S&P 500 companies, and we look for all the keywords related to data analyst. So we have data analyst, data scientist, just analyst, uh, from year 2000 to 2016. And surprisingly, we found 6,810 titles related to data analyst. Okay, that's a huge amount of titles. So if you look at the number of companies that have this kind of positions, so in year 2000, we only had 151 companies. But when we get into 2016, we have 316 companies with this kind of positions. And there's a rapidly increasing trend in the past 15, 16 years. How about the number of analysts? In year 2000, we can only find 445 analysts through all these companies, but now we have 4,715 analysts hired by all these companies. Okay. So if you look at the number of analysts by companies, this is the top 20 company list. Most of them are expected. So we have the financial institutions, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. We have JP Morgan Chase. Okay, these are the giant financial institutions. We have the high-tech companies, telecommunication companies. So we have Microsoft, AT&T, we have Apple, we have Hewlett Packard, that's HP. We have IBM here, Cisco. These are the giant technology companies. We also have the healthcare. So we have United Healthcare Group. Okay. We have the large online retailers, Amazon. Okay, Boeing is kind of famous about its innovation capability. Okay, interestingly, we have General Motors, and we have Johnson & Johnson and Accenture. Okay. But when we look at the job switches per year, so in year 2000, the number of switches were around 2%, but keep going up and up all the way to 2015, the switch percentage is about 8%. You will see a drop here in year 2016. Okay, that's because the data is incomplete. We don't have the full year, so that's why this number is smaller. Okay, but that's a huge amount of number of switches every year. So if we try to plot all these companies in terms of whether they are hiring the same people back to back, or they have already hired the same people as a professional, you will see a graph like this. Okay, so each node is a company. When the analyst professional is hiring by company A and then later is hired by company B, then you will see a line between these two companies. Okay, so from here you can see that our sample is based on the S&P 500 companies, and you can see that almost everyone has a line in between. That means all these professionals has been switching jobs pretty often across all these top companies. Okay, but the problem is this figure is really hard to understand what's going on. So our goal is, if I can tell that which company keeps recruiting analyst professionals and which company keep losing these analyst professionals, then I should have a better sense of what's going on in this kind of analytics job market. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So we have the top 5 talent importer. So we have Bank of America, HP Enterprise, Wells Fargo, Apple, and Accenture. Okay, they hire a lot of analyst professionals. But who are the top 5 talent exporter here? So we have the HP Enterprise, we have the Bank of America, Wells Fargo, IBM, and AT&T. That means they keep losing these kind of professionals. But interestingly, if you look at both lists, you will see HP Enterprise and Wells Fargo and Bank of America. They're all on the same list. So they keep hiring, but they keep losing people. So interestingly, so if we just focus on the top 5 talent magnet, you can see that Apple is really good at keeping all these analysts, these analytics professionals. And also Facebook is really good. Okay. So these are the companies they can hire the people and they can retain the professionals or the talent. But when do people switch their jobs? So if we are able to tell, can we just somehow provide some suggestions to the companies and to our students? Okay, so that's why we regress this switch decision. Do I want to switch? That's 1. Or I don't want to switch, that's 0, on a couple factors. So tenure is one factor. So tenure of existing jobs, so how many years I have already stayed with this job, and tenure before existing jobs. So how many years I have been working before this job. Switchers, okay. We have some people keeping switching jobs. Okay. And we have a couple control variables, age, gender, education may make a difference, whether you have a lot of certificates, whether you have different skill sets, and year. So we collect age, gender, education, certificate, and skill sets all from LinkedIn. But as you can see that this is self-reported, so we are not able to collect this kind of information for all the analytics professionals. Okay, so we have a couple missing variables here. So on average, the analytics professional in our sample is about 33 years old. That's really young. And the tenure is about 70 months. Okay, so that's slightly more than 6 years. So interestingly that it seems that they start to get into this kind of job around 25, 26, or 27. Before this job, the tenure is about 60 months. Okay, so that's another 5 years. Okay, so that's why people have a college degree. And surprisingly that most of the people that are still have a college degree, because in our perception or our expectation is that most of the analytics professionals just got a graduate degree from those predictive analytics programs or those MBA programs in recent years, but probably it's not. Okay, then the maximum number of job switches is 11. 11 means that some people keep switching jobs every year, almost every year, but most of them haven't switched yet. Okay, so switchers, these people are more likely to switch. They just like to switch jobs for some reasons. We don't know that. Tenure of the current position. So if you have been staying in this position for a longer period of time, you are less likely to switch. That's not surprising. But these people are less likely to do downward switches. That means they are less likely to switch to a smaller company or less reputable company. Or they are less likely to switch to a totally different industry. Okay, so they keep within the same industry. Tenure before the current position. If you have been working for a long time, then you are less likely to switch. Okay, but the effect is weaker if you're looking at those downward switches. So summary. So in recent years, companies, universities, the biggest challenge that we're looking at for analytics is talent. So universities cannot find people to teach all these kind of courses. The same thing for companies. They are not able to find the appropriate person to execute the jobs. So this study provides some just some initial observations on the current state of data analytics job on LinkedIn. Okay, so we try to encourage people to dig further about what's going on in terms of the job market. And then if it's possible to look at the demand and supply of these analytics professionals. So it's better to provide policy implications and provide some suggestions to our students. Thank you very much for listening, and apologize that I'm not able to join you. Um, if you would like to submit your paper to the Journal of Emerging Technologies in Accounting, I'm the associate editor there. It's a AAA section journal. Just send me an email and let me know. Our goal is to have the first round decision made within a month. And if you have any question, please pass to Professor Huang and he can pass it to me. Thank you so much for listening.